hello.
Hi.
I'm not sure how many people we're going to have today, but I'm just happy to see your faces. Thanks for joining. How's it going, Amy?
Good.
Yeah?
Good. Glad to have compositions out of the way. I just got to say that.
Yes.
Mhm.
You're in the thick of it, but I'm really glad when they left my hands, I was like, whew.
I understand. I totally understand. Absolutely. But I have a question for you guys. I was at a Niagara meeting yesterday. Hey, Sarah. And one of them was mentioning they really liked the later date. Amy, you are a well-seasoned
Mhm.
NYC teacher. How did it make you feel?
It
Geraldine,
was it was so much better because of what I was finding was now online classes have helped, but you still aren't like in the room. If we have a bunch of snow days in January, February, that's where
Mhm.
the crunch, it was just like some of the classes, you know how it's cyclical, right? Like seems like every Thursday or
oh,
every Tuesday, depending on the year.
yeah,
And then
totally.
those groups, you'd just be scrambling at the end. So that helped a lot. And we had March break before we had to hand them in. That helped a lot too.
Um,
Yeah. I still was texting people the day before, like, okay, I'm like, it's the deadline, like today.
I know.
What happened to your
Send me your
computer?
song. But it was better.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm
Uh-oh.
glad to, and I want to let you guys know too. I am happier with it. It wasn't new. We've had the
Second,
feedback for a few years, specifically
my
for
computer just
Sundance
died.
One, that it didn't match the curriculum with the guidelines, especially with the bridges,
Mm.
the requirement of having those bridges there. So I'm glad to hear this feedback, and we're not going to be flip-flopping. So this is the time now again. This will be the time for the composition
Oh,
festival.
good.
We're not going to be going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Okay. So we're not going to do that instability of like, oh, well, we'll try it one year and then we'll try another way and then we'll try another way and then we'll try another way. Um, so if anything, if anybody wanted to suggest even a later date, I think if we went any later, it would be almost too late. Um,
Well, then you'd be running close to music festivals, and
yeah,
I mean, ours is in middle of April, so that would be kind of tricky.
yeah, good. Okay. And Geraldine, did you want to share anything about it as well, about the later composition date, or do you feel Amy sort of summarized it well?
That was perfect. I had the kids try to get it almost done before March break,
Mhm.
and then I gave them a little extra time to tidy, tidy it up, and if they wanted to add something, they could. It gave them that time. I found it rushed before.
I found it rushed too. I'm going to be completely honest. As a teacher, I was right in the same shoes as you guys. For those of you who are just joining us, I was just put a general question out there about what people thought about the new deadline for the Composition Festival. And newer teachers like Jillian, you wouldn't realize that the date was earlier before. It used to be right at the beginning of March. So it's just different. Before we get started on talking about re-registrations and the program direction and all those wonderful things, I think it would be really fun for all of us just to say where we're from, because we're getting an amazing variety of people from different locations. So I'm going to just pick starting from the top of my screen, but Eric has just stepped away from her screen right now, I think. So Geraldine, where are you from?
Fredericton, New Brunswick, and it's snowing like crazy out there.
Oh, is it really? And how long have you taught NYC?
Uh, don't know.
A good amount of time.
A good amount of time. I'd have to go look at my
Your certificate.
phone.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna go back to let's go to Amy. Amy, where are we talking to you from today?
I am in Little Zurich. It's a town of 800 people in southwestern Ontario. And year 20 or 21 for me. And it
Awesome.
was snowing here yesterday too. And now today it's just sunny and the snow's gone already.
Ooh, I look forward to that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bounce over to Eric, back to Erica. Erica, can you share with the rest of the teachers where you're from?
Once I,
Oh, you unclicked and clicked.
there we
Oh, You're too quick, Carol.
There we go. Golden, British Columbia, where it's winter in the morning and summer in the afternoon right now. Well, spring, but we're enjoying a wonderful spring ski season. So that's good.
Oh, that's awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Sarah, Richie, where are we talking? Where are you from?
I am in Hanover, Ontario. So Grey Bruce. Yeah. And this is my
Thanks.
fourth year with NYC.
Yay! Jillian.
Hi, I'm in Portugal Cove in Newfoundland, and it's my first year at NYC.
Yay! Awesome. Kathleen, where are you from?
Hi, I'm from Red Deer, Alberta, where it is like in Golden, cold in the morning, warm in the afternoon, and this is my second year of teaching.
Yes. Awesome. Ginny, where are we talking to you from?
I'm Southwestern Ontario as well, little town called Elsie Craig, and this is the end of my 17th year of teaching.
17. I can't. Oh my
Oh,
God.
where's it go? Oh.
I know. Where does it go? Cecilia, where are you from? Oh, are you frozen, Cecile? Oh, there you are. There you
Oh,
are.
hi. Well, I'm from Stittsville, just outside of Ottawa. And I think this is probably going on my 20th year.
Yeah. Crazy.
So, yeah,
you.
time flies.
Time flies when we're having fun, eh, guys? Della, where are we talking to you from?
Morning. I'm in Saskatoon,
I
Saskatchewan,
have a NYC meeting.
and I'm in my 21st year of
Are you
teaching.
working today?
I think it's that, something like that. And you can tell it's sunny today. But yeah, it's like a frozen lake on our front street. It's like so melting, freezing. Yeah.
Melting freezing.
Anyway,
On the Banff?
Us too. Us
The
too.
joys.
Well, welcome, Della. Thank you. Laura Lee, nice to see you, girl. Where are we talking to you
No, when do
from?
you work today?
Oh, sorry.
No, you're right. You're online.
Ottawa. So I'm just like 15 minutes from the head office, which is really nice. This is I just had to count while everybody else was giving their numbers. This is the end of my fourth year.
Awesome. Amazing.
I'd much rather. talk to you.
Roberta, hello. Where are we talking? Where we get to see you from?
I am from Winnipeg, and this is my, oh my gosh, I think it's my 28th year teaching NYC. My 28, yeah, I think 1995. So yeah, it's been a long time, and
Nice.
yeah, so it's great. And the weather here is sunny and cold, but it'll warm up by the end of the week, so it's all good.
That's
so
what
it's just,
we're hoping to, yeah.
and it's our spring break, so
Oh, that's right.
that's right, yeah, Manitoba. So I'm much more relaxed. No lessons this week, so it's all good. And only 8 more weeks to go. Not that I'm counting.
I know.
But-
Well, you know what? We're all counting at this point. As soon as I get to 10 weeks left, I'm totally countdown. I totally do the countdown.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Allison, nice to see you. Where are we talking to you from?
I'm in Ottawa, and this is my second year.
Great. Thank you. Megan, hello and good morning.
Hello, good morning. I am teaching in Lethbridge, and I've been teaching for 2 years.
Amazing. Thank you. Welcome, Claudine. Hey, girl, I saw you joined a little bit earlier, but glad you came back in.
I got my times mixed up.
That's okay.
Again.
We all do. So where are we talking to you from?
I'm from Winnipeg. I'm a colleague of Roberta and Bether. I've been teaching for 9 years, I think. 9.
I can't believe it's already been 9, Claudine.
I
remember
know.
when we were in Winnipeg and it was your first year teaching.
I was like,
I know, right? Yeah, it's crazy.
but
Well,
now I'm more
welcome.
chill.
Now you're old school. Now you got this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Charlene, hi. Welcome. Thanks for coming. Where are we talking to you from?
Edmonton. Good morning to everyone too.
Morning. Oh my God, I can't believe what a great turnout we have. Priscilla, where are we talking to you from? Oh, she might be multitasking. Oh, hi.
Morning, everyone. I was just getting my water bottle.
Yeah.
I'm from Peterborough.
Peterborough. Amazing. How many years have you been teaching NYC?
Oh gosh. almost 20. I guess 19 years probably.
So Priscilla used to be in a different area in Ontario, which some of you may remember. And then now she's in Peterborough. So she's been moving around Ontario a little bit. So she was with Sandra Poulton's area for a while and then came up to Eastern Ontario area, right? All right, my screens keep on moving around, so I don't want to miss anybody. Sarah Ritchie, we have not heard from you. Where are we getting to talk to you from today?
Yep, you already got me. I'm in Hanover.
Oh, okay. Kara, have you shared where we are talking to you from today? Okay. And also, just so you know, if there's life going on, Beth Emmers, can you jump on and say hello and share where we're talking to you from today?
Yeah, I am in East Selkirk, which is about 20 minutes north of Winnipeg. And yeah, so I'm here.
Welcome. We're happy to have you. Paulina, where are we talking to you from?
Hey, I'm from Estevan, Saskatchewan.
Estevan. Shout out to Estevan. Yeah, awesome.
Took me a minute to get on, so I'm on here now. Thank goodness.
Oh, no worries. No worries. And I know we got to get to the good stuff, but people are still joining us. So this is good that and you know what? This is the awesome thing about knowing where everybody is. And this is really cool. Kathleen, we talked with you. Nicole Bowers, where are we talking to you from, girl?
Oh, well, very near you. Yes, near downtown in Hindenburg. You can see
That's an Ottawa
behind me, right?
Yeah.
There.
We can hear you and see you okay. And Ottawa looks really nice, but it's cold this morning.
Yes, definitely.
Well, welcome. Thank you for coming. Lorraine, do you want to pop in and say hi and tell us where we're from, where you're coming from?
Sure. Winnipeg.
We got some good Winnipeggers here today. Okay. Dora Chan, where are we talking to you from?
I'm from Calgary, and it's really yucky today. It's very snowy. Like, it looks snowy. I can't believe how gross it is. And then I've been teaching for, I don't know,
while.
17, 18 years.
Yeah, we got a good decade at least, for sure. Almost 2.
Yeah.
Well, welcome. Thank you for coming. Melody, where are we talking to you from?
I'm in Ottawa.
We got some
and I think this is year 12.
12 already.
If that's possible. And I'm going to be crazy. So I'm having breakfast, which is why my camera's off. I'm having breakfast in your face.
No worries.
And then I'm going to go and ski because it's cold. So I'm going to go skiing after this.
Oh, I hope you enjoy. Thank you for coming. Emily, you want to share where you're from? Or did we get you already? All my cameras are moving around so much. We have Elizabeth. Elizabeth, do you want to share where you're coming in from today?
Sure. Hi, I'm Elizabeth. I'm from Mississauga, and I've been teaching MOC, I think maybe 15 years. I think so. Happy to be back.
Thank you for joining today, Elizabeth. Louise, it's good to see your name here today. Do you want to share where you're coming from? Oh, your sound's not turned on, my love. It looks
Yep,
like
there we go.
Yeah.
Yep, from St. Catharines. It's sun shining and beautiful, and yes, looking forward to hearing more.
Yes, and we will get there very quickly. I think we have Jolene. Jolene, you want to share where you're coming in from today? Oh, she's typing in. She's from Milton, starting my 2nd year. Excellent. Thank you so much for coming. And remember, we do have that chat option. So if you want to see what teachers are talking about, you can open up that chat window. No, you don't have to apologize, Jolene. There's still some bugs going on for sure. Logan's teacher, Barb Forbear, today actually has canceled her full week of lessons this week because she is so sick. And those Ottawa teachers that are here that know Barb, this never, ever, 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 ever happens. So unfortunately, she is very, very ill. Kim Kent, I know where you're from, but can you let everybody else know where you're from? If Kim's there.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I am just, if you hear lots of noise in the background, I'm just at Regina Christian School, ready to start sunrise class here shortly. And so I just came to work a little bit early so I could get in on the discussion.
Amazing. That's awesome, Kim. Thank you so much. We have some really good think about where we are all coming from today, literally across Canada. That's awesome. Loving, loving, loving this. Okay. So thank you so much for everybody for coming today. I know we want to get right to topic. So re-registration time, and we have to figure out where to put these wonderful little guys within our method. So I want to open up something here so we can just immediately start looking at, where is this? Show all, there we go. Our program direction. So what we're looking at right now is straight from our website. It's under the toolbar of our website of our program. And then you just go down here to our curriculum. Now I'm choosing to use the website as an example because when you're talking to parents, this is a really great resource. And if you haven't been using the website too much as a resource, I would really encourage you to do so because that information is right there for everybody to use. And I'm just going to expand my window a bit so I can see. So right now we're thinking about re-registration. And so we have either students in our entry points of our level ones that I call our entry points, Sunshine 1, Sunbeams 1, Moonbeams 1. That will hopefully be will be progressing within the program, but just where do they want to go? Sunshine 2 will go to Sunbeams 2, the natural progression. This is what is represented here right now. So if you have a Sunshine 1 students, they would naturally progress into Sunshine 2 if everything's tickety-boo. If you have Sunshine 2 students, they'll go into Sunbeams 2. If you have Sunbeams 2 students, they're going to go into Sunbeams 3. So this is how that progression happens. If you feel the children's foundation within their current level is stable enough to move forward. Now, let's say there's some gaps, and I think we're all experiencing some gaps when it comes to our children's learning. I'm seeing it within my own children, returning to school in person, adjusting, returning back to in-person learning. You know, we've had the conversations with Logan's SK teacher about having some gaps with his reading, you know, all those different things. So let's just say, you know, you're sort of stopping yourself and being like, yeah, they're ready for Sunshine 2. So the reason why we have these levels that are side by side in MYC is not just for nice formatting, okay? If you don't know, that means that in Sunshine 2 and Sunbeams 1, they cover the exact same goals, okay? So all of the goals that our students achieve in Sunshine 2 are also achieved in Sunbeams 1. So you have options as a teacher. The children are not going to lose a year. Should you decide and think about, well, they're not quite ready. So why would you move a student who is currently in Sunshine 1 not to Sunshine 2? Maybe they're a very small Sunshine 1. Maybe they've had some challenges this year, whether with family, adjusting back to school, practicing hasn't been there at certain times, or there's just certain gaps that you want to reinforce. By putting them into Sunbeams 1, they automatically, by moving them that way, they automatically get 10 weeks of review. Okay, so everything that we cover in Sunshine 1 is covered in Sunbeams 1 within the first 10 weeks of Sunbeams 1. So it's a really nice way of allowing our Sunshine 1 students, our students to really solidify and swim and really get confident in those concepts that were covered in Sunshine 1. Okay, same deal with a student that would be in Sunbeams 1. Maybe they're not quite ready to go to Sunbeams 2 for whatever reason. Okay, so you have some options here. You could either move them sideways to Sunshine 2, okay, because they're still going to achieve the exact same goals, but they're not going to be, you're not going to be pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing with brand new concepts. So if you move them sideways to Sunshine 2, they get to review all of the concepts that you covered in Sunbeams 1, but with brand new material. So the children and the parents don't feel like they're repeating and that they're regurgitating the information, okay? Or you could take that Sunbeams 1 student, depending on how old they are, maybe they're a 6-year-old turning 7, you could put them into Moonbeams 1. So maybe they're ready to progress to Sunbeams 2, but there's those few little gaps of that foundation. Maybe there's a couple of cracks in their foundation. We want to fill those cracks in with a nice rubber and make sure they're really solidified. In Moonbeams 1, they're going to get 10 weeks of review from Sunbeams 1 right off the bat. So reestablishing, there will be some repetitions. Moonbeams 1, of course, is the entry point level for the 7 and 8-year-olds. So they're starting with pre-staff reading, they're reviewing their patterns, they're reviewing the piano geography, they're doing all of those different things within the first 10 weeks. So that is something to remember, is that don't forget that they are going to be taking some time to review what they have covered in Sunbeams 1. Kara, I'm just going to mute you if that's okay, because I can just hear some conversation and that's totally fine. I'm not worried about it, but I just wanted to let you know, like, oh, if she did that, I wasn't. Okay. So that's what happens with Sunbeams 1. In Moonbeams 1, let's say we have a Moonbeams 1 student that's not quite ready to go to Moonbeams 2. You can move them sideways to Sunbeams 2. Okay. So this is how we are working around all of these levels in our MYC program. The gray area over here, My Choice and Music Your Best Choice, for clarification, My Choice is exactly the same material and curriculum as Moonbeams 1. The Moonbeams 1 student manual, if you haven't seen it updated, actually says MYC, Moonbeams, and My Choice, okay? So this is a multi-purpose publication. You can use it for the typical Moonbeams 1, 7 and 8-year-old entry point beginner student, or you can use that with the family, with a parent or a guardian in class with them, or you can, no worries, Kara, it's okay, no big deal. Or you can, let's say, maybe you have some preteens that experience piano previously in their short lives, but it didn't go well, but they seem interested. My Choice is the Moonbeam 1 curriculum, but you do that generally without the parents. So it's for those preteen students that might just want to continue their discovery of music. Maybe their discovery of journey in music was very auditory based previously, or it was very focused in a different area. And the My Choice curriculum, as it is a Moonbeam curriculum, as it's an MYC curriculum, just gives them a really well-rounded exposure to rhythms and theory and all of those different things. And it teaches them how to read music. So let's say you have a student who wants to learn how to read music so they can go into their musical theater or join a choir or join a youth orchestra or something along those lines. My Choice is a great option for those students. Music Your Best Choice is the adult or older teenage level in MYC. This is a public level, so you do not have to be an MYC teacher to teach this level. It is open to the public. And it's different in the sense that it doesn't have all the tabs like our other books do. I've taught Music Your Best Choice privately to university students who took music way back when they were younger and they want to come back to it. David went through Music Your Best Choice in a group situation with Francis and Gunnar and Trevor back in the day. And so there were 5 grown men in a class with Francis learning how to play the piano. So it's your choice as a teacher and how you progress and manage through the Music Your Best Choice. Are there any questions so far about what I've said? And just turn your mic on and
I have a question about the Music Your Best Choice.
Mm-hmm.
So just so that I have this correct in my head, so the Music Your Best Choice, that starts at square one, is that correct?
It does. It starts with it starts at square one, basically reestablishing a foundation. But you as a teacher get to choose the pace and the tempo of learning. So you can choose to review those pages very quickly with an adult student or an older teenager if they need to have just a quick review. Or let's say some of the people that Francis has taught, and I've heard that other people have taught with Music Your Best Choice, are elderly people that want to learn how to play the hymns at church. So they haven't taken piano for maybe 20 plus years. And then they just need a little bit of review of the piano geography, rhythm notation, all of those different things. What books do you use for Music Your Best Choice? Dora Chan is asking. Oh yes, and we're going to do what we're doing with advanced students too. Don't worry, okay? Don't worry, Erica. So there is a Music Your Best Choice manual, Dora, and it's about that thick, and it just covers the entire. So it should have had one with me. I apologize, but if you want, you and I can jump online, or I can take some pictures of what it is. So before I move on to the second and third levels and how to address those, are there any questions, any situations that teachers want to share about their level 1 students moving to or progressing to level 2s? Yes.
Hey, I just wanted to share that I didn't have any issues with my students. Like my Sunshine 1s were ready to move to Sunshine 2, but it was a very small class of 3 kids and one of them moved. And so I talked to, one of the moms was me and one of the moms was like a very easygoing person. So we talked about it and we just moved those Sunshine 1s to Sunbeams 1s so that we could add a few more kids and have a better kind of group class. And that worked out really well too.
And that's a really good thing to mention. Thank you, Kathleen. So let's just say exactly this situation, and this can be addressed for all levels of MYC, is let's say life has happened this year. Students have moved, students have had, families are still going through a lot, right? So we want to be mindful of that. And so some of our class sizes might have shrunk from the beginning of the year. This is a really great tool with our program direction, that it gives you options so you don't have to continue moving forward with those smaller class sizes. So just like Kathleen said, she had Sunshine 1s, the class was reduced to 2. So let's figure out how we can add some more students to that class. You shift them over to Sunbeams 1. Let's say you have a Sunshine 2 class that something has, there's been some changes, there's other things happening with that class size. You could also shift that class over to Sunbeams 1. Again, that would be review for your Sunshine 2 students. But let's also, the thing about MYC, what I really stay focused on is what is our ultimate goal when we're teaching the MYC program? Is it to advance them as fast as possible through the program and just see how many kids we can get from Sunshine 1 to Moonbeams 3? No, that's never been my approach to this curriculum. That was never the purpose in Francis's direction and things like that. It's about really establishing, these are young kids. They will have time to do these private lessons. They will have time to take those next steps and go whichever direction they wish whether it's with private lessons with piano or violin or cello or voice or drums or guitar. But if we can feel amazing and awesome about the foundation that we're giving these kids, all the better. So, you know, that has always been my approach. Anyone want to add to that?
I was just going to say that's kind of like the thought I was having this year. You just kind of reinforced. I have a class of 3 Sunshine Ones, and 2 of them are. I still have like one kid that's so easily distracted, and he just loves Dino D, but like that's about all we're at. And I keep the mom's a teacher, so I keep trying to be patient. He will pop. Let's just take it step by step. So of those 3, 2, I was thinking already that lateral transition into Sunbeams one. And then I'm looking forward to hear what to do with my 3rd one, because she is so advanced, it's ridiculous. So that's also why we're trying to figure out what to do with that class, because like the advanced kid is just like so bored and just sits there and plays it and she's done. And then the other 2 are just like, still trying to, get them focused and not distracted on the keyboard.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. And we'll talk about the advanced students in a sec. Jillian just put something in the chat, first year teacher here. I have a Sunshine 1 student who has poor fine motor skills. He's struggling to use more than 1 finger. The class is really close. Parents are friendly and personnel outside. Wondering if anyone has a tip on how to approach this. This mother is aware that the child is behind, but he's very shy, moving him into Sunbeams 1 with older. Does anybody have anything to share with Jillian before I jump in? So it sounds like you want to keep this group together, right, Jillian? That would be your ultimate goal?
Yes, yeah. The child is really, really shy, but he's getting to know these kids. He's opening up a little bit, but he was 3.5 when he started. So this coming year, he still won't be in kindergarten here in Newfoundland. He'll still be in preschool. Okay. So I do really think he would struggle. I think he would just shut down if I put him in a new class, because that's how reserved and shy he is. I mean, he hid for like the first 7 weeks of classes behind his mother.
And the other kids you're thinking it will move nicely towards Sunshine 2? Is that your plan?
Yes, yeah, they're all doing fabulous. Yeah.
Okay. Well, a lot, as teachers have always, I'm sure you've seen on the children grow up a lot during the summertime. So those little fine motor skills and things like that can definitely have some improvement over the summer. And you can always, how I would ask is, how is he, besides his fine motor skills? Playing with 1 finger doesn't worry me too much. It really doesn't at the end of the day. It's like suddenly the light switch turns on and he just discovers his fingers. Would anybody else agree with this who's here today? You can put your hand up or an emoji or a reaction or things like that. Yeah. Yeah. So it definitely, I wouldn't worry too much about the 1 finger. Okay. If his note reading is there and he's feeling pretty good about his note recognition, his piano geography, his rhythms, all of those different things, those things that are, because in Sunshine 2, yes, we still do have the critters, but we're starting right off the bat on K1 on the staff. So that is where Sunshine 2 starts. So there is no pre-staff reading review in Sunshine 2. So as long as he's, you feel good about him. And you know what? I also find when children are in a group of kids that they are feeling safe around, again, it just seems to come together really nicely. Would anybody else agree? Yeah, okay. Melody, do you want to jump in? I'm just looking at the chat. I see you turned your mic off. I put your mic on. Charlene's just offering some suggestions here. Have him do some one-on-one with you during the summer. Yeah, that's a good thing too. If you have that availability. He could always sidestep to catch up in a year or 2 when he is more mature and open to meet new friends. Okay. Geraldine, you have your hand up. Did you want to add anything?
Yeah, I had a child like that. that was so shy. She'd come in and hide behind her mom, and she wouldn't participate. She'd just stand there. And then about a year and a half in, you could see her growing. But a year and a half in, she came in one day and we couldn't shut her up. So you can't tell, you know, the kids, they do grow and they do progress. But she just, yeah. And then she did everything everybody else did. But the mom said that when she went home, the reason why she stayed in the program is because when she went home, she did all the stuff at home. And then she'd come to class and then she'd be all in her little corner again. So yeah, ask the parents maybe what is he like at home? Does he want to do the things and stuff?
Yeah, very true. Thank you, Geraldine. That's an excellent point. Yes, thanks, Erica, as well. Any other questions about transitioning your students from level 1 to level 2? Okay, so let's think about our level 2 and level 3 students now. Okay, so as you can see on the progression chart here, where the natural progressions would happen. Again, we're going to approach the program direction just in the same way as I've mentioned to you. So if you have a Sunshine 2 student that through all of the transition and pivoting seems to have taken a step back and needs to have some reinforcement with their foundation, you have an option of Sunbeams 1. If you have a Sunbeams 2 student that is not quite ready to go to Sunbeams 3, you could move them to Moonbeams 1. Again, that would give them 10 weeks of review. Sunbeams 3 student might not be ready to move on to Moonbeams 3. You can move them sideways to Moonbeams 2. Okay, and then of course Moonbeams 2 student, vice versa. The Moonbeams 2 and Sunbeams 3 are on the same level here. Moonbeams 1 and Sunbeams 2 are on the same level as well. Okay, so when we're thinking about our level 2 and level 3 students, one of the things that you want to take a look at and get yourself well versed with, I'm just going to close my chat window here for a moment, is I'm going to go to our, on the website again, our curriculum, and you see, I'm not sure if you, let me make sure, so I can see what you guys are seeing. Yeah, okay, good. So here under our program, there's a tab called the MYC Course Sampler. And if you haven't had a chance to discover this, this is a really wonderful student and teacher recruitment tool, but student information tool for your parents. So this is not meant for students to read, this is meant for parents to read. I'm just going to close my window for a second because every time I change something, I'm going to have to share it in a different way. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just clicking on that image from our just a second, from our website. And then I'm going to open it back up so you can see the actual what is in this course sampler. So the course sampler is exactly what it says. It gives people a peek into what our program does. So this is the title page. That looks really skewed for some reason. There we go. And it just gives a really good analysis. And I'm sorry, I'm looking at my phone. Quinn is sending me through his blood sugar numbers. And Quinn is our firstborn who is a type 1 diabetic. Okay, there we go. So it'll take a minute. There we go. So it goes through all the levels of MYC. So if you're teaching Sunrise and a parent is asking you, what are we doing in Sunrise? Here are the goals. And these are the goals that are in your teacher manuals. But it's a really nice, clean, colorful, summarized version of what we cover in Sunrise. It shows some page examples, the materials that are needed, all of those different things. So it shows the puppets and some pages and things like that. Okay, and then we have it for each level. So we have goals for Sunshine 1. And page examples, student manual examples for you to show your parents. And so what's great is that you can share this link with your parents, either prospective parents or existing parents, about what's going to be happening next year, or that you've opened classes for the 2023-2024 teaching year. And again, it's taking its time to load again. Let's see. So, and I'm not going to necessarily go through everything, but I just wanted you all to have, I'm not sure if you all knew where this was. So there's the goals for Sunshine 2, what the student manual looks like, pages that are there. And for you teachers that are preparing to do your level 2 and level 3 training, this is a really great resource for you as well, to see some page examples and the goals and all of those different things as well. So this is what the course sampler is. Okay, and this is what it looks like. So it really gives a great summary, and it's meant to be shared. So I don't want anybody to think like, I can't share this. This is on our website. This is ready for us to be sharing. It can be shared with parents. It can be shared with teachers. It can be shared with anyone. When you're talking about MYC, it can be shared with literally anyone. Okay. All right. I'm going to go back to the website now. Just a second. And bring that back up. Okay. Any questions about the course sampler? Had anybody seen it before? Well, so this is just so you know where it is. So you want to, if you want to looking for it, you're going to go to the myc.com, our program, and the drop down list shows up, and I have too many windows open, so I can't see my drop down. Oh, why is it doing that? There we go. Oh, it's because I think I have too many windows in the way. Just a sec. There we go. And it just right there to course sampler. Okay. The other thing too in our website is that we have a breakdown for all of the different levels of our program as well. So it's all here at the website to help you to use as a tool as a teacher. So if you're talking to a parent and you want to explain to them what is going to be involved in their learning year, we have Sunshine 1 and Sunshine 2 listed here as well, and the pluses will expand. Okay. So it just gives like a Coles Note summary, not as a high detail as the course sampler.
So Olivia, I had a question on the course sampler. Is it ever available in print form, like for trade shows, or like some parents are still very much more, paper focused and not online focused? So I can just, when I make my order, I can ask for paper copies, or like we can order those, or how does that work?
Well, we haven't. So how they usually were distributed were purely at national conferences when that David and I also either attended or with coordinators. We did not. So we have some actually printed in stock, printed right now, but they are not necessarily an in-stock item. But it was something that we were going to do. So yes and no. We have about, I think, 25 right now in-house. So definitely, I completely hear what you're saying. I'm still my entire office is surrounded by paper. So
I'm still very much a paper person too.
Yeah,
so it's like, for me,
totally
even looking through, like even to show parents and point things out, like even if I just had a office copy kind of on hand to kind of flip through with parents or prospective parents would be great.
So if you want, we'll touch base after today, and I can get one sent to you. Same
Awesome.
for everybody. And also, just it's a good point that that's something that we are working on having in-house as well for teachers to use, not only from the website but in print form. Any other questions about the course sampler, anything like that, or program, just the general program direction that we talked about? Hi, Joy. I noticed that you joined us. Welcome. Oh, maybe do you know you have your mic on?
Oh, nope, sorry. I forgot my baby close by, and a message. I was just going to type a message to say I've got my kids with me. So I'm not
no worries.
turn on my camera, but
okay, I'm happy you're here. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Now, let's just think about, I got a really great question from Geraldine yesterday about the challenges of re-registering students that are in level 2s and level 3s already, and they're approaching the age that would typically be private students. How do we convince these people that MYC is the best way to go? And because it's very, because, you know, when a child hits 7, it is the typical age that they would go into private lessons. So it can be a bit of a harder, I hate to use the word sell, but it just is a little bit more of a challenge. Like, parents are like, oh, this is great. Now finally I get to drop them off. I get to have a free time. I'm like, why is this important? Okay, so the importance of children continuing at MYC in the 2nd and 3rd levels, and I have a couple visuals to show you with that, but just off the top of my head, not just to hear me talk for a second, is these children's foundations are built on the MYC way of receiving information. And our children have gone through so much change in the last couple of years. I think, you know, what's so important is providing stability. So when a child's learning structure changes, they are essentially starting at the bottom again. So when their environment changes, it's not only about the material, but it's also their environment. So if you think about these children who have loved coming to their MYC classes, seeing their MYC friends, seeing you, their teacher, seeing all the mums and dads, and being part of that community at your studio, and then that's suddenly taken away because it's the parent has perceived it's going to be easier or better, it's something that a parent might not actually think about at a conscious level. That can have ripple effects for their children in different ways. So while they think they're benefiting their child by having one-on-one teaching, they're also removing other benefits that had been happening within the MYC teaching way. Socialization, the manner in which the concepts are being covered, being able to move. Like, this is the other thing that, you know, everyone gets so like, okay, you're 7, it's time to grow up, sit down at the piano, and you're not going to move for a half an hour. Okay. These kids still need to move. Okay, as a mom of 2 boys, oh my gosh, like trying to get them to sit still is crazy. So these little 7 and 8-year-olds and even 9-year-olds have to move. They are still full of wonderful positive energy that needs to be structured and directed in the proper manner. So taking this child that was used to being in this wonderful holistic environment where it's okay to be silly, and we're going to stand up and we're going to make big movements, and then we're going to sit down, and then we're going to do this and we're going to do that, to suddenly in an environment of 30 minutes private lesson where you literally are not allowed to move besides your hands, would be a shock to a child's system. So that is something to bring to a conscious level with a parent, because I know as a parent, we are very much thinking about everything our children have gone through specifically in the last 3 years, but also developmentally. For, you know, let's forget the pandemic for a second. Pre-pandemic, I was saying the same thing. These little 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, they still need to move. They still need to express themselves creatively. Yes, okay, you know what I'm saying. They still need to discover what they love about music. You know, we don't need to push them into a direction of private lessons yet. Maybe this child is still discovering, hey, do I like percussion? Do I like singing? Do I like composition? What do I like? What gets this child excited about music? And if you allow, you know, if that, and you know, so those are the types of things, you know, you could say, well, I really noticed that Logan loves the rhythm ensembles, or Logan has an amazing ear. He hears his rhythm stories so well, and his ability to take in that information, understand it, and then have it output into his rhythm dictation is awesome. And those are some things that he won't necessarily get if he moves to private lessons. And maybe that's something that he's showing us, that he has an amazing talent towards composition, or arrangements, or, you know, all of those types of things. And there's so many different directions in music that children can go. We can see by the professional music industry, it's not all about piano. It's not all about this and that. It's about music producers, right? We need music producers more, so, you know, we need sound guys. We need all of these different people within our music industry. And, you know, with MYC, what's amazing is that we're giving that opportunity to all of those different elements of music. Does anybody have any questions for me? I was just talking for a little bit. Minute. Or any comments to share?
I'm not sure if it fits in here, but I was just wondering about at what age. So I'm looking at my kind of 7-8-year-olds next year. And I'll be honest, I'm having some issues with parents actually getting in the way, like repeating what I say and trying to like overteach me. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who's experienced this. So like I'm looking at them at school, like they're great with just one-on-one with their teacher. They're in grade 1, grade 2. At what age do we say we don't really, that the parents can kind of be optional, or that, you know, it's okay to be just teachers and kids?
That's totally, so where I would say is be mindful is we still need that parent support specifically in the younger ages, but addressing the age that you're talking about, this is where the flexible parent participation can come in. And you, the teacher, know your students and your parents the best. So it's up to, without me pushing it all back on you, it is up to you, right? So if you feel that your dynamic within that class would not have a ripple effect of changing your classroom management too much, and it would actually help and not hinder, then go for it. Some teachers have created a schedule for parents, so each parent takes a turn once a week to come. So it's my week on week 2 of the month, it's Jillian's week on week 3, it's Cecile's week on week 4. So they get a schedule set in place. That works really well from the feedback that I've received from teachers that are doing that flexible parent participation, is that the parents still need to have ownership. So they're not completely like free as a bird, you know, like I'm out of here. Like there still has to be a connect, and that seems to work the best. Would anybody else like to share about flexible parent participation if you've experienced it or tried it yourself? No? Okay. Okay, no problem. If you think of anything, just jump right in or type in the chat box. Oh, Priscilla, you hadn't seen the sample before. Oh, excellent. Absolutely. Charlene, you were asking where on the myc.com is course sampler? And Erica, you were asking that. Okay. So when you go to the website, let me see if I can bring that back up and show you just one more time. There we go. So I'm on the myc.com website right now. I'm going to go home. So I'll show you, and hopefully it'll follow the path for me. So I'm just going to just double check. So this is our landing page, right? myc.com. Okay, you're going to go over here to our program. Okay, when it's here. So it's going to show you our program. You're going to see some of my students. Oh, that's Victoria. You'll see a summary of the different levels here. So you're not going to see it right away. Okay, so you got to go back up to our program in that bar, and you see the drop down list, and the course sampler is the second option. Okay, and then you're going to see a picture of the book or the little booklet, and then you just click on this, and then another window opens. But if you want to put this in social media, a link to this in your social media, in your communication to your teacher, to your families about what we're going to be doing this year, or this is what I do now, and this is what's at my studio, you could put it on your studio's website. This is the link right here up at the top. And you just have to copy and paste that in, and it'll bring them right here. Okay. All right, now I just want to double check. I see some more comments. Priscilla was saying, I haven't tried the flexible parent participation, but have thought about having parents attend once a month or some kind of schedule like that. Yeah. And again, that's the feedback that I've received from teachers that has worked really well, is that as long as you have a schedule for flexible parent participation, then you don't go from one extreme to the next. Anytime we go from one extreme to the next, that's when I get a little kind of like my tummy gets upset. It doesn't work very well. That's when the things can start happening that you're like, whoa, how did we go down this rabbit hole? You were like a really engaged parent for like forever, and then suddenly you've disappeared, right? Or you'll notice it in the children too. You know, you might try it for a trial period and say, okay, we're going to try this for 2 months and we're going to see how it affects everybody. Because sometimes, again, those parents, you think a child's going to do okay without the parent there, but then you'll start noticing some behavioral things within class when the parent's not there. Most of the time it's fine, but sometimes it cannot be. So it's just important to be aware of that. Okay. My level 1 teachers, how are you feeling about progressing your level 1 students to level 2s? Do you have any questions that you'd like to talk about, or is there anything that we haven't not talked about yet that you would like to cover, or some situations, things like that? Everybody's feeling the love. Everyone's good. Okay. All right.
I
yeah.
I have a situation. I brought it up to you before. I'm just trying to get my video started. I brought it up to you before, where I have like a really nice group of level 1s who are going to 11-2s, but half the group, the parents, like this language is like they speak more than one language, but they read only, like English is not the strongest of language. And I'm sure that their little ones are also, even though they're young, they're like in kindergarten, they're also the interpreters, you know, so there's a bit of a learning curve like that they have to like get over, but I feel like if moving them to Sunbeams 2 would not be good. I feel like they need to stay, like just repeat that one, and I could go to the left, but that's just adding that a new, like the new again, and they just need to repeat and then see, like, do you agree with that, or does anybody else experience that?
Yeah, and that's a really great point to bring up, and thank you for bringing it up to the group too, Claudine, because you're not the only one going through it. Okay, so when you and I talked about, so there's no rule in MYC that you can't repeat a level. Okay, so I don't want anybody to feel like I'm not allowed to do this. This is not what it's intended. We're just giving options. So of course you can repeat a level. And the best way to approach it is having really open and transparent communication with that class and those families. It's just, again, what is our ultimate goal in MYC is making sure that everybody's feeling really good, happy, safe, and confident about what we're learning. And there's so many different aspects happening in our MYC classes. Communication is key, right? So if that attention is being sort of pushed back and forth in between the child and parent, as long as you're like, you know what, we've had an amazing time this year. I'm super, super proud of all of you. But I think to really make our foundation stronger and stronger and really have that vocabulary and that terminology at a very confident level for everyone, and parents, for you to support your children at home in the manner and in the quality that I know that you want to have for them, then we're going to do Sunbeams 1 again this year. Okay. So please don't feel like you are not allowed to repeat a level. It's you, all you teachers know your families and your students the best. Where I would guide you is really, again, communication is so important, and in the manner and how you communicate. So specifically when you're talking about people's children, is you want to focus on what they're doing well. So you know what, Claudine, you do your rhythm ensembles amazing, and I love how Claudine does her rhythm ensembles in class. She audiates her terms out loud. She's doing such a good job, but I really want to strengthen Claudine's note reading. So before moving on to that next level in MYC, because MYC is a progressive curriculum, and this is what's important for parents to realize as well. We are moving forward each level, right? And we want to make sure that everybody is feeling that really positive, confident, safe environment with each step of MYC, right? So again, there's no problem with repeating, and you just focus on the positive, the area. You got to find a positive to be able to address the challenge. And we don't call it a negative, it's challenge or a little speed bump or something, right? And so that's how I would approach it.
Can I add a comment? I don't know if this will help, Claudine. Like, so first my thought is also what cultures are the parents coming from where they might see, you know, a hold back as something negative, because there are some very like cultures where they might see that, oh no, this is a failure, no matter how hard you try to explain. And if there is a language barrier, that communication can be harder. But then the other thought is, do you have enough students to have two, let's assuming, is it a Sunshine? What level is it? Which level one is it? Sunbeams?
It's Sunbeams 1. So I'm thinking half the class would go to Sunbeams 2, but then the other half, and it's the families who are struggling. And it's not like they didn't progress. It's just at a certain point when we got to that on the staff, something just stopped, like on both sides. And I know the two families are close. I already talked to the parents. They are on board with doing it again. And I tried to keep it really positive. You know, your tummy hurts. Okay, just 1 second. I'll be right there. And okay, I have little ones. I'm sorry.
No, I have a 6-year-old in the background too. It's all good.
And yeah, so it's I think they agree. And it's not like there was, what have I been doing? I've been recording the classes and sending the classes every week, even though they don't need the recording. I've been recording the classes so that they could hear it again. I've given them extra lessons. I really gone over and above to help. And I think it's just like that. Yeah.
No, I was just wondering about your numbers, like if it was possible to do 2 separate, like, so if it was, you said Sunbeams, so 2 separate Moonbeams one next year, where like the whole group can transition laterally. And then like if you're starting a new Moonbeams one with just new students, and then keep, you like said, you kind of wanted to keep that group together and they can transition into a separate Moonbeams 1 class. So everyone still has the review, the parents still have the time to build on the skills, but only if you have enough numbers. That's why I was just asking if you had enough numbers to do that.
No, I don't, not at this time. I don't, I know. No, they would have to start again. Yeah.
Good idea,
Thank you.
Erica. Yeah. And when you have the numbers, it'll definitely work. Now, I'm being mindful of the time. I promised this would only be an hour, but I wanted to show you a couple more things that I have and that we do go over in training. But I just pulled them out and I'm happy to send these to you guys. So this is one of the slides that we use in our prospect webinar. So let me just make it a little bit bigger for you. When we're talking to prospective teachers, you know, that question is, why would we choose group or MYC over private? So this is a nice little summary of this, and Geraldine was amazing and brought this up and reminded me about this, so thank you again, Geraldine. And it just sort of gives you the bullet points about what we do in MYC, and it's a visual for a parent to see right away. See if I can make this bigger for you guys. There we go. So it's just a great visual to show a parent when you're talking about maybe they're pushing back a little bit more about, okay, it's time to move to private lessons. Why would we do this? Those types of things. And it just visually gives them an idea of how much we're covering in MYC, how much we're covering in our group versus what you possibly might be able to cover in exam, in a private situation. Okay. So I'll post this and I can share this with everybody within my email communications. So this is a really, and as Erica mentioned, having a visual is a really helpful thing sometimes for parents, especially because they are engaged in their different learning styles as well, right? So a parent might not be listening to you because they're thinking about all of the different things that's going on in their life, right? So, maybe when you send out your re-registration or you start talking to them about re-registration, you can include this PDF in that email and go, let's remember why you're doing MYC. Why is this so good? What are we doing here in MYC? The other one that I wanted to share with you is it's specific to, just a sec, Moonbeams 3, because I know Moonbeams 3 can be a really hard sell at times. And so this is some of the slides that we cover in our Moonbeam 3 training, and we address how do we talk and communicate to parents about transitioning their Sunbeams 3 students or their Moonbeams 2 students into Moonbeams 3. So sorry. Just give me one more. Sorry guys, I'm gonna just show you this and then I'm gonna have to, so this is a 3-page PDF and it's just comparing what we do in classes versus private. Okay, so it has lots of different great information. We have games, parent participation depending on the group, singing, ear development, opportunities for performance. And there's a question mark beside the opportunity for performance with private because not all private teachers actually support performances. So depending on a private teacher, those students may never experience a recital. I know it's shocking, but it's true. Ensemble playing, composition theory, what's the rush, those types of things. So I wanted to show you these 2 samples that I'll be sending out. Jillian, I realized that, no problem. Thank you so much for coming. And as I said, we're just right at the hour. So I want to let everybody know I was not going to go over time. And I really appreciate you coming on. Do you feel that this has been helpful? The teachers that have joined, was this what you were looking for? Can I go into more detail with something else?
Yes. What I was looking for was how do we know as a teacher to transition our Sunbeam 2 students to Sunbeam 3? What supplementary books are best? Do we move to RCM? Do we move to Canadian Conservatory, etc.? How do we figure that out? That's what I was looking for, is how to decide that, because we need to know that before I can send out my registrations to my current students, right?
That's a really good point. Thank you, Paulina. So in regards to the supplementary books for Sunbeams 3, that's completely up to you, the teacher, to decide. So Royal Conservatory, as we know, is generally more classically focused, although they are beginning to bring in some more contemporary and different things. Conservatory Canada has different streams that you can offer your students. So it's about thinking about these students that are currently in Sunbeams 2 and what they are going to really engage and get excited about. So in Conservatory Canada, you have the whole idioms stream, which is not classical. It's contemporary, it's improvisation, it's all of those different things. If you have students that are really very modern and get excited about those types of things, you could go that direction with Conservatory Canada. And Conservatory Canada also has a classical stream. So the benefits right off the bat with, I would say, if you wanted to try and compare RCM versus Conservatory Canada, is primarily around the approach. And also, so we have a very structured approach, a very well-known established approach with RCM, very classically driven. Bye, Della. Okay, thank you so much for coming. I'll see you soon, hopefully. Oh, and have a great teacher meeting on Saturday. I look forward to talking to you about it. Okay. Bye.
Okay, excited about our meeting. Bye.
Bye. Conservatory Canada, and so, you know, Royal Conservatory has the very strict, well, did, but also their exams are approximately 8 minutes long for level 1 versus Conservatory Canada level 1 piano exams are about 20 minutes. So the way that the examiners interact with the students are different, but that's dealing, so if you're going to choose a conservatory direction, as a teacher, you could try Conservatory Canada in Sunbeams 3 with a supplementary book, and then focus, and if you didn't like it, you could shift to RCM. You're not locked in. And also, if you have a Sunbeams 3 or a Moonbeams 2 class that you're going to be having this coming year, and you're thinking about your Sunbeams 2 students, and you're like, oh my God, I can't even imagine adding anything to their workload. They already have too much. They are already struggling. The parents are feeling bogged down. They feel like they're drowning, you know, and you're just getting that vibe from the family. You don't have to do a supplementary book. There is enough material in Sunbeams 3 and Moonbeams 2 for you to focus simply on the K section. So there is that option. You do not have to choose a supplementary book in Sunbeams 3. Okay. And Paulina, I want anybody and everybody to know here at this meeting, at this workshop today, if there's specific situational moments that you want to discuss with me one-on-one and we can brainstorm it together, just email me and we'll set up a time and we'll just brainstorm. Okay. So we don't have to try and solve all of our challenges today. If there's something else, or after today, you're thinking about something that you might not have thought about before. And now, because you came today, your hamster started running in your head, just let me know and we'll connect. Erica's asking, will we still have an opportunity to discuss placement of advanced students? Erica, specifically what advanced students are you thinking of?
So like I have like currently in I always get my levels confused. My 4-year-olds, I'll just call them that, my JK kids. So I have 3 kids in my first level class.
Right.
So the 2 that I'm holding, I'm going to transition laterally, but I have this one, her older brothers have been through the program. She's super keen, not to stereotype. She's the daughter of 2 doctors. Like she's just like so spot on. She's also, the parents, I didn't suggest this, but the parents have her in like a 15-minute private lesson with another teacher. So like her note identification is totally there. So I was thinking with some summer support, we could transition her, like shift her up to my Sunbeams 2 class next year. I know that's jumping a level, but it would make sure she had all her foundations. However, when she tried out a class during March break, when I didn't have her classes, the parent said it was a little chaotic. And I get my 6-year-olds can be a little chaotic. So yeah, just any sort of ideas and how maybe not to lose that student, because like her other classmates are going to be doing a little more of a lateral transition, and she does not need a repeat at all. And in fact, she probably is more advanced than some of my Sunbeams 1 students.
Well,
So
there's no problem with skipping a level. Okay. So as long as you feel that they've checked all the boxes, okay. And you feel that it will also be a good thing for the child as well, and it's not just parent driven.
No, it's definitely, that was me who suggested it, actually, not the parent.
So you're acknowledging both the parents' needs and the child's needs developmentally as well. You know, when we have very advanced children, sometimes they can be very advanced in some areas, but in their typical correct developmental stage for their age. So while it's tempting to push and push and push, I think going to Sunbeams 2 would be a great idea. It's not that big of a difference between Sunshine 2. You know, there is definitely more, but it sounds like, but she'll still get the idea, able to move, able to be silly, able to do all of those important things for her age and developmental stages that she's in with other areas, right? So definitely you are allowed to skip levels in MYC. It's again being very, very mindful of, okay, so, you know, and taking that look at the goals that are achieved in each of the levels, either in your teacher manual or from the course sampler, that those have been checked. Right? Is the terminology there? The rhythm notations with all the different rhythms, you know, triplets, 16th notes, you know, those types of things. We don't want to have a big gap there and then suddenly sort of hit a speed bump and be like, oh, right, okay. You know, and we all have moments like that, but we just don't want that happening a lot, right? So just being mindful of that, I think, would be the best thing.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just want to chime in if I can, just about that Sunbeams 3 supplementary question.
Yeah.
So I totally agree that in the K section, there's plenty of pieces. The kids don't really need more piano pieces. So what I've been doing with my Sunbeam 3s for my supplementary is I've been getting that Christopher Norton book that nobody's talked about for my Sunbeam 3s. And mostly what I do with those is all those fun rhythm things. So we might play one or two of them from the Christopher Norton, but it's mostly all those, like it's a fantastic up. There's the clapping and the foot rhythms. And the funnest thing is all the backing tracks because the kids love those. So we'll get up and move. We'll do all the practice clapping with the backing track things. And then we might also, like all the pieces to play, also have a backing track. So it's like a fun, different activity rather than adding like more piano pieces, which they already have piano pieces. So that's what I do with my Sunbeam 3s. And then I only do the conservatory stuff once we get to Moonbeam 3 personally. And it's just really, really fun. And because it's like an extra added thing, if we don't get to it, it's not the end of the world, right? If we're like really busy or if there's a section that's like we're overwhelmed, there's too much, then I just don't do it for that section. And I save it for the next, you know, unit or block of 4 lessons or whatever. And that's worked really, really well for me.
That's awesome, Melody. Thank you so much for bringing that up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, so there's the book called It's Your Turn that we published with Christopher Norton that he wrote specifically about introducing improvisation and experiencing improvisation through your body. It's called It's My Turn, It's Your Turn. And there's actually some MYC pieces in that as well, but there's exercises and there's about 3 to 5 different kinds of exercises that is including your body and movement and teaching that kind of stuff. So if you have, that's an awesome, thank you very much, Melody. It was a great idea. Does anybody else have anything to share today before we say our goodbyes from across Canada? Well, I hope that this has been helpful. I know that, and as and if it wasn't, it's okay to tell me. And if I've missed something that you really, really wanted to talk about, please let me know and I will share that. We can talk about it. We can jump online. We can talk on the phone. We can do anything that we need. I'm here to support you guys. I'm here to help you find the right spot for your MYC families. I'm here to support you and your studios and for your studios to be successful. So thank you, thank you, thank you very much for joining today. This recording will be made available, don't we worry, and I'll post it and share it and everything else so we can watch it again and you can share it with all your colleagues and things like that. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. I'm going to go play some, Priscilla and I are going to meet and then we're going to play some compositions. Thanks, everyone. Bye. Have a great day.